Lamandang Gumbuan Jamba Yang Lan Janza Gongge Lonjin Jinyin Jinja Yidra Namda Rabza Jinyin Dengen Jishin Zijin Yijin Duga Limbam Zen Kanda Sip Sendora Mare Mendon Duman Jizir Ganzo Kunla Fujin Yanlan Fujin Yanden Zon Rundar Jendro Yemoy Yemo Lejin Charun Rosen Jim Harim Benzen Domay Nyugo Jinyin Jenzer Radin Dunin Dajin Sajin Dajin Yindin Genzon Jazin Duin Gun Junyin Jinden Dalim Enzen Jumbe Online Marabazanade 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 Zeden Jinji Chenro Zenjin Dalen Demon Barazan Kodon Dinji Jonglon Dumbai Lorde Bombien Noan Tondu Lonjin Nanjin Jam Kunjunga Manjimba Polo Jinji Jinja Visha Jinda Dimame Balaguera Jimbe Monan Chaza Jinju Jiho, Shivan and Seran Namjid, Tuji Jesu Zimbranzin, Zo, Congacious on the Mongisas and Ben Orajan, Zimbesu and Dumber and the Gimmick in the Zinjur, Jitama, Vineshi, and Jitansu, the Conjabi, Tuombe Mongarveja, Bendirin, Dale, Jenson and the Nombos and Javin under Ranjan and Jindo, Sense of the Jin, then Jumbarwe, Pemanjun and Dale in the Bolodarian Devana, Tomanian Cholan Jidina, Jujun Yamani Bawaso, Zamin Jinju Nanjenda Ejon, wanted the Virgin Yugo, and then Gunjunga Vishazado, Zibin Anjaba, Bonjeran Janjenda Ejon, Rigunjunga Nationale, Bombilon Lepo Better Jendo, Jensen Jansen Anger, Mibonjambi Anjenda Ejon. Jinjin Bomen, Jizala Punjaran Junku Jijin Bedin, Jigala Comendanawa, Walden La Meja Jinda Ejon, Yamaya, Kadin Sanjay Kunetan Bibin, Sayan Jala Zuande, Osundu Lamnajela, and Mongo Jidana, the Jilaman Jibakan Sudan, in the Zambi Jinjambe. Symbol Deva Hadan de Jiji, Namarian Tamba, like it on the Nijing, and Gonda the Meek and Andan, Dwap in Jinanam Jizamba. Some Jig do so surrend to Majun Gita, the Nyam Basin Chintam J, Nandro Deni Deva, Laman by Andavan Zobi Sanji Mohan Birchilla. Chine Jam Gobrasha, the Chillo. Tewajin Bisho, Chanjus and Bijoba Lanjuba, the Nitsushin, Sene, Yansulan, So, firstly, have a right intention to listen to these teachings. Think in this way. For the motherly sake of the motherly sentient beings, in order to lead them to complete enlightenment, we're going to listen this Bodhicharyavatara, and from there, whatsoever I understand, I'm going to apply all those methods in my day-to-day life, such as that kind of intention, listen this teaching. And then the teaching itself, that Bodhicharyavatara has a 10 chapter. So far, we completed first chapter, and the second chapter is going on. And then the first chapter is Shantideva explaining or instructing about the potential or the benefit of Bodhicitta. And after understanding that potential or the beneficial of Bodhicitta, so in order to have it that kind of beneficial or potential within oneself, what we need is the Bodhicitta. And in order to have a Bodhicitta, then these are the things that we need to prepare to have it. And then so far, he in short, that he's recommending in order to have it, and we need to have enough merit to have it, and we need to confess our negative in order to have it, Bodhicitta, within oneself. And in order to accumulate the merit, then he is guiding us here many different ways, different methods that we can engage into in order to accumulate merit, and such as like an offering. And within our offering, and he also recommended many different ways engage into offering actions, and then prostrations, and then refuge, and then in between is instructing how to confess one's own negativities. And then now today we are here that in order to have that awakened mind within oneself, and what really obstruct us or the distance us to have that is our habitual tendency, and which is bind by those past karmas, if the negative karmas. If we have a strong habitual tendencies derived by those negative karma, and those really obstruct or the distance us to have this awakened mind within oneself, even though we wish. So therefore, he's recommending, that we need to confessed or the purified all the negativities and its habitual tendencies that we need to make sure that are purified. And then in order to purify it, then he's instructing this, how one can engage into purification actions. Then he's instructing this, that with this four power, if you confessed all your negativities, then your all negativity karma and its habitual can be purified. And then within this four power, or another word, we can use these 4 steps to complete the confession. Then the first steps that which we gone yesterday about this, normally called this power of remorse. So the power of remorse, in short, the power of remorse, it's something like we need to understand that, how oneself engaged it already into such a negative actions. And Shantideva, he's saying that either done by oneself or aside to others to commit it. Insight, isn't it? Insight other to commit it, or just watching somebody doing it and then say taking as a pleasure in such a sin or rejoicing. Through that way, we can turn our negative actions. Likewise, then through our physical, verbal, and mental. And whatever those actions derive or the force by defilement. If those action is not derived or not forced by defilement, then it's no problem. But as long as if our actions are kind of like a derived or forced by this defilement, then it becomes karma. Then when it becomes karma, then karma that never change unless it gives its result or confess. There are only two ways to get rid of karma. One way is just let ripen its result, and then second way is confessed. And these are the only two options that karma can get rid of. So here Shantideva recommending, rather than let it ripen, better to confess and get rid of through confess, not get rid of through ripen. So understand all these things, and then how to say, when we understand that how negative karma can create it in this way, that actions which is related with the physical, verbal, and mental, and can be done by oneself or inciting others or rejoicing somebody others doing those actions. And then that actions is forced or derived by our own defilements, which is short afflictive emotions. We use that one too. So understand this. Then until now, whatsoever we committed, any of these actions, and such a willing to remove from oneself, that when we raise that kind of sense, that sense, it's the first step in order to confess one's negative. That we need to understand the negative, and we need to have a sense or the willing to remove it, willing to kind of like get rid of it from oneself. That's the power of remorse, and which is we completed yesterday, and then now today, and then Shantideva continuously instruction the second steps or the second power, which is power of object, kind of like a normally sometimes we use this power of object. Now here really this power of object is not really talking the out there actually. That it is really Shantideva was talking about this object. Shantideva already at the really beginning of this confession instruction, Shantideva already instructed that you need to do this confess front of triple chain. He already instructed front of triple chain, and you need to have this sense of power of remorse. And then now power of this, normally we use this ten gito, and ten, when we translated that ten into English, then it becomes kind of like an object. They translating object. But here actually this ten gito, and there's a object, and then there's a kind of like a, we call this Thakten. Thakten means pure mind. With the pure mind or the pure, fully confident. That also that is the power of object actually. Power of object. But the pure mind or fully confident to whom we have it still going to Triple Chain. We need to have a full of confidence on Triple Chain. That confidence has to come from oneself. That's confident. Is the here Shantideva instructing that confident or the faith here, faith or full of confidence that Triple Chain can be help me to get rid of my karma. Such a that kind of confident. It's called the second step or the power of object. So how Shantideva instruction here? And then this stanza number 47. From stanza number 47 to 53. Those almost kind of like a 7 stanza. 7 stanza Shantideva instructing about this power of object. Second steps in order to confess one negativity. And then how he is introducing here. First, after we fulfill this first step, power of remorse, then we need to fulfill the power of object. The power of object in this way. Thus, from this day forward, I take refuge in the Buddha, in the Buddha's guidance of beings. Why? With the understanding of Buddha's capability, which is who labor to protect all wonders, those mighty ones, who scatters every fear. You see here, who scatters every fear. That's the kind of like a quality or the capability of Buddhas. So in order to have such a faith and confident, fully confident, we need to understand that object, what really they can do it for us. So the first 2 lines it is talking about, thus from this day forward I take refuge in the Buddhas, who is considering as a guidance of beings. Why? Because he have this quality or the capability who labor to protect all wonders, those mighty one who scatters every fears. So why here it use every fears? Because there's no such thing that he cannot help us. Therefore Shantideva is putting his scatters every fears. If we really consult to Buddhas and kind of like accordance with the histories that we can see while those Buddhas are reside in this world. And many different people, they are having many different difficulties. And no matter what types of difficulties and consult to Shakyamuni Buddha, and Shakyamuni Buddha always kind of like letting them understand some solutions or find out some wisdoms to solve their difficulties, solve their problems. So that's accordance with history which we have. And this accordance with what his history happened, Shantideva also saying this is the quality of Buddha. Those mighty ones who scatters every fears. And he did it, yes. This is not just saying that he did it. And being who are worth who are vessel enough to achieve enlightenment, he provides them enlightenment. Who are vessel enough to liberation, he provided liberation. Who are vessel enough to just achieve higher realms, he is guiding to how to achieve higher realms, and all those things. And even such a temporary problems too, that he is kind of like guiding them in a very right way to solve their even small problems. So therefore, understanding his capability, quality, therefore, I'm having full of confidence on him. That full of confidence or the faith, devotion, is the second step here, Shantideva introducing. Among the four powers, the second power is that one. But to whom you need to have a full of confidence or the faith or devotion is to those. And likewise, and continue Shantideva's going, and also in the Dharma, they have realized in their heart the Dharma, which is they have realized in their hearts, means actually those Buddhas, that whatever they have realized, Dharma is none other than their realizations. Why we're willing to have a full of confidence, faith and devotion into Dharma? It's because which drives away the terrors of samsara. Understanding the power or the capability of Dharma. Actually now here, Dharma is not something person, so we cannot use capability, right? So therefore we need to use power, maybe. Power rather than capability. So Buddha is reconsidering some person, so we use capability. Actually saying, by the way, that to Dharma, in the Dharma, we are having full of confidence, faith and devotion, because Dharma has that power which drives away the terrors of samsara. So therefore, that having full of confidence or faith and devotion into Dharma, it's something kind of proper. It is something kind of like a worthwhile to have it. Or how can we say now? And then also, and in all the host of bodhisattvas. So actually here, in short, he's saying Buddha Dharma Sangha. The way of saying is different. Bodhisattvas, likewise, I will perfectly take refuge. Here, bodhisattvas, he didn't say any reason like Dharma and Buddha yet, that he was going to say this later. He just said general bodhisattvas. So this stanza number 47 and 48, and he's saying that we need to have, in order to confess one's own negative, that we need to have that confidence or the faith or devotion that if I rely on those, they can definitely help to purify my negative. That kind of confidence is the second step, the power of object. When we have that confidence sense, then that fills the second steps, power of object. We need that in order to confess. And also that we need, in order to have that kind of things, actually that kind of things we can have to anybody, actually. Because this is Whether I am having faith or devotion or confidence, it's completely in my hand, because this is my mind. I can make it. I can have that kind of faith, devotion, confidence in anybody. In anybody, I can have it. This is just like my mind is just like my hand. That my hand, I can move wherever I want, up, down. Just like that, my mind, if I just want to have faith and devotion, I can have that to anybody's. But here, Shantideva, what he is saying, you can have it this to anybody, but it's good or the proper to have it on those who are worthy to have it confident. Which are the Buddha Dharma Sangha. And why he tell this with the reason a little bit here. He tell little reason, right? As we go on right now. With the understanding their capability, their power, their quality. And without understanding their quality, capability, still if I want, I can have faith. No. Because of, I told you already, the faith is completely in my hand. Nobody can do anything. I can have faith in anybody's if I want. If I don't want, I will not gonna have faith and devotion and confidence to anybody's. That's completely in our hand. But what Shantideva really recommending is to understand those objects and their capability, their power, then have it confident in those. And then from here, this stanza number 49. And now it is like a little bit kind of like a, how can I say now? He making this particular in stanza number 48, those second lines, in all the host of bodhisattvas, he just general put it, right? General, all bodhisattvas who represent the Sangha. And now from page, this stanza number 49, particularly within a bodhisattvas, within a Sangha, and he is recommending these bodhisattvas. If you can have faith and devotion, if you can have full of confidence on those bodhisattvas, then it is kind of like a sufficient to have the second steps, the power of object. And who are those? And then he is going here. Grieved by death, beside myself with anguish, to Samindabhadra I will give myself. And now particularly Samindabhadra Bodhisattva. Right? Those among the 8 Shakyamuni Buddha's great 8 Bodhisattvas, disciples. And now he is taking as a particularly, generally all Bodhisattvas, Sanghas. Particularly those bodhisattvas, those sanghas, such as a bodhisattva Samindabhadras. To Samindabhadra, I'll give myself. I give myself means confident, having confidence on him. Right? Having confidence on him. My body, I myself will give to, likewise, Manju Kosha, so the Manjushri Bodhisattvas, who is gentle and melodious, gentle young. Actually, they translated this English, gentle and melodious, gentle young, gentle young. Young is kind of a melodious, right? Young is gentle, soft. Pal is actually wealth. Pal is wealth. Gentle young. who have a soft wealth melodies. Some sort of like general and melodies. And likewise, to him whose deeds of mercy never failed, which is my Lord Avalokiteshvara. That saying with now here, Shantideva pointing particularly those Sangha, right? Those Bodhisattvas with their qualities, with their little qualities. That Avalokiteshvara's quality is whose deeds of mercy never fail. That's his capability, that's his kind of like a power. My Lord Avalokiteshvara, I cry out from depths of misery, so protect me now, an evildoer. What is that? Evildoer.
Somebody who does evil.
Oh, evildoer. It's called evildoer.
Evildoer.
Evildoer. Oh, doer. It's a doer? Okay, evildoer. Okay. Evildoer. Protect me now, an evildoer. Shantideva, he himself accepting that I am evildoer. Now please protect me. Likewise, yeah, we are now here. As long as we committed those karma, then this karma will gonna remain us until we confess. So accepting oneself as an evildoer, now requesting them to protect me. Right? Main point, it's confident on them, have faith on them. That's the second step, power of object. And likewise, also to the noble one, Akash Garbha, the Bodhisattva Akash Garbha. Akash Garbha, Namkinimbo, right? Namkinimbo, Akash Garbha. And also to Kristi Garbha, Sainimbo, Kristi Garbha. From my heart, I call to all protectors, great compassionate. I cry to them in search of refuge. So the refuge means now faith and devotion and full of confidence on them. That if I rely on them, they can really help me to confess, remove my negativity. Having that confidence, that's refuge. And also to Bodhisattva Vajrapani, that Kristi Garbha, Shantideva doesn't talk about those Akash Garbha and Kristi Garbhas. They are compassionate. Here he just said compassionate. And then here again, Bodhisattva Vajrapani, I shall fly. What does it mean, I shall fly?
Fly like a bird.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But what does it mean? To Vajrapani, I shall fly.
Go towards.
Go towards. Oh, I shall fly. For at the sight from him, go for it. Go together with him, right? And go together with him. Because that what particularly Vajrapani has the power or the capability is all vengeful things like Yama's host escape in terror to the four directions. That is related with the history actually. Vajrapani looks more wrath than they are. So they say even those Yamaras, when they see the Vajrapani, they scared and they run away. So if you have that kind of protector with you, then they don't bother you to come in front of you. Right? This is now Vajrapani's capability. Understanding that Vajrapani's capability, if you don't want those Yamraj to come close to you, then you better to have his protection. To Vajrapanians, I will take refuge to Vajrapanians. I shall fly, for at the sight of him, all vengeful. Is it vengeful? Vengeful. What does it mean?
When you seek revenge on someone, you want to do them harm because they hurt you. So.
All vengeful things like Yama's host escape in terror to the four directions. Formerly your, and then keep continuing. Formerly your words I have transgraded. Here now. Your words now, this your represent all above, okay? Not only Vajrapani, all above. All those above, Vajrapani, Kistigarbha, and what do you call it? Akash Garbha, Samindabhadra, Manju Kosha, Avalokiteshvara, and generally all those Sanghas, and then Dharma, and then Buddhas. That formerly your words I have transgraded by engaging into negative actions. Definitely, those Triple Gem never want any beings to engage into negative actions. Therefore, it is that formerly your words I have transgraded. Doing negative action itself, it's transgraded their words. They will never gonna advise you to do these negative actions. But now, having seen this terror all around, but now understanding its consequences, and the understanding those are negative, what I committed. I come to you for refuge, praying swiftly drive away my fear. Now that's the second steps, or this power of object. That's how, that kind of sense you need to have. Mainly here, confident on them, that if I rely on them, they will definitely help me to purify my negative karma. With that kind of sense, and going, flying, right? I shall fly. I shall fly. Okay, so now until this stanza number 53, Shantideva introduced the how to fulfill the second steps, or the how to complete this power of object in this way, in order to confess one's negativity. And then now from here, the third steps, or the third power, which is power of antidote, that how one can fulfill that power of antidote. And this is stanza number 54 to 64, almost 10 stanza, 6, 10, 11 stanza. So within this 11 stanza, actually, the actual that instruction of the power of antidote is only those final two stanzas, 63 and 64. Until 62, and he's giving a reason why you need this power of antidote. But those reason is also counting in a category of power of antidote. But actually it is not talking about power of antidote. It is talking about the reason why you need power of antidote.
What's the meaning?
What?
Power.
Power of antidote?
Yeah, what meaning?
Power of antidote. Okay. So if you don't understand English, then what should I say? Okay, then I will say Nyembuito. Now you understand better.
Không biết. Start to get it the meaning but I don't get it. The third step. Ai hiểu cái chữ này không? Không.
Nyembo kundachibito. So that Nyembo kundachibito we translate it into power of antidote, right? Antidote. You understand antidote?
No, I don't understand that.
Antidote.
Đây có cái từ điển không dịch không cái này mà không biết không mình không hiểu được không biết không.
Antidote is how can I explain now here? Antidote.
Sorry.
Can you do in English translate in Vietnamese? Có cô có xem con lấy cái từ điển nó dịch từ cô vừa.
No, Amanda, you don't know antidote? How to say in Vietnam?
Không biết không con.
Huh?
You know, in English, usually with antidote, there's a poison. So if there's a poison like a snake bite, then you need to take a medicine
Medicine is antidote.
to
Yeah.
cure the poison.
Yeah. That's antidote. Yeah. Medicine is the antidote for poison. Yes.
Thuốc giải độc đó. Ok. Là thuốc giải độc.
And confess is the antidote for negative action.
Ok, hiểu rồi. Sám hối, chịu ở sám hối là giải.
Now you understand, Annie? Antidote.
Chỉ có
Okay,
sám
good.
hối là thuốc giải độc cho cái nghiệp chướng.
So here, this, as I told you, until this stanza number 54 to 62, actually it is not really instructing antidote. It is instructing the reason why you need antidote, power of antidote. That how Shantideva instructing. Then after you fulfill this second steps, which is power of object, then you need to start fill up this third step, which is power of antidote. With the understanding its reason. First Shantideva providing reason. For if around by common elements, this is example, 54 is example and 55 is meaning. 55 stanza is meaning. 54 stanza is example. For if, example, for if, what is that? Alarmed by common ailments, kind of like a disease?
Illnesses, yes.
Illnesses, ailments. I must implement the doctor's word. Right? What need to speak of when I constantly brought law by ills like lust and falls a 100-fold. What does it mean?
Which part?
Stanza number 54. Stanza number 54. Tamal negi jingnaya mimbi ngakshin chaguna dechala so negi tatat mejigwers. Yes. That first two stanza is showing that common ailments. For if alarmed by common element, I must implement the doctor's word. If so, then what need to speak of when I constantly brought law by ills like lust, and falls 100-fold, like out of lust, out of greedy, right? out of lust, out of greedy, when I committed hundreds faults which are like an ill disease. Even in a common ailments, in order to cure that, if you need to implement the doctor's word, then it goes without saying that persons who are ill, 100 different diseases out of those lust and faults, to listen to the doctor's word like those Triple James words. It's like it goes without saying. That's what Shandideva was trying to say here. This is the one reason, actually, this is one reason Shandideva providing that you need power of antidote. Power of antidote is following their words, right? Following their guidance, their words is the power of antidote. Now, before following their words, and Shandideva is trying to let us understand why we need to follow their words. And then he is giving this with the example, that one reason, the first reason. Even for the common ailments, to cure that, if we need to listen the doctor's word, then it goes without saying the persons who are ill by 100 different diseases out of those lust and faults. And in order to cure that disease, need to listen the Triple James words, goes without saying. This is what it means. Do you understand what he's trying to say here? This is one reason he's giving us that why we need power of antidote. Are you getting it? Alita, you get it? Little bit, not complete?
Maybe tomorrow.
Malay, you getting it?
Yeah, I have a question.
You have a question?
Later.
Yeah, you can ask later. Definitely. And this is one reason that he is providing why we need power of antidote. And then again, he's giving kind of like a same, it is talking about same reason. He's providing reason why we need, but in this way, slightly this different way. That, and if by one of these alone, that he described before, hundreds of fault, right? Hundreds of different fault, which means that actually it is talking about this negative karma. When you have full of negative karma, whether you accept or not accept doesn't matter, you are ill. You are just like an ill. Because sooner or later, this ill will gonna bust. Then you will gonna suffer. So therefore now, you have hundreds of fault because out of lust, also out of fault. Now, and if by one of these alone among the hundred fault, one of that ill, one of that fault alone, the dweller in the world are all thrown down. It has that power to pull oneself down. And if no other remedy exists, no other healing elsewhere to be found, then words of the all-knowing doctor. which uproot our every ill. The thought to turn on him deaf ear is object and contemptible stupidity. What are you getting it from this word?
Objecting contemptible stupidity.
Is object and contemptible stupidity.
Contempt is like hatred. So it's like it's making the point that it's really, really stupid.
Yeah, not following this doctor's word.
Yes.
Yes, not because this so far Shantideva instructed that we have these hundreds of faults. And now stanza number 55 it is saying each and every those single fault has that power that dweller in the world are all thrown down. Kind of like a data negative they chigi yang zamlina maybe mikun arjenas. Yeah. That kind of power is in there. Each and every those single negative actions has that power. Because it is that I said earlier, right? Why Shantideva was saying each and every single of those actions has this power that which can throw us down. Why? I told you before, right? Karma, once we commit it, either it's get rid of by ripening its result or confessed. If we don't confess, then it has to be get rid of by ripen. If we let it ripen, where it will gonna ripen? It will be ripening, their result is you to throw down. That's the ripen. Therefore, each and every individual karma has that power. If you don't confess, it will gonna remain forever until it gives its result. It will never gonna exhaust in between. It is not like a human police. Sometimes cannot see, sometimes see. You cannot liberate from that. There's no excuse for racists. There's no excuse for anybody. From lama to poor beggar. No excuse. From rich to poor. From baby to old. No excuse. I'm sorry. So therefore, each and every those single illness has that power to throw it down. That also we mention in Chonam Gunaminyanas. But on the other hand, that we cannot find the remedy that here it's saying, and if no other remedy exists, which means there's no any other remedy exists, no other healing elsewhere to be found, except then relying on this triple gem actually. Just like a ill person. That first Shantideva said this stanza number 54, that common elements, right? Common elements, in order to cure that common elements, other than doctor, we will not gonna find any solution. Doctor can give you the solution to how to cure it. If you forget, if you, skip doctor and then try to go find some else to cure these elements, then You are kind of like become this object and contemptible stupidity. That's what it means. Then you become this. Yes. When we have this common element, go to doctor is right. Right? And skip doctor and finding something else is stupid. Same like that. In order to confess one's own negativity, skip those triple gems, or say their word, their guidance. Skip that and looking some, I don't want this, tell me something else. Then stupidity. Yes, it is what Shantideva means here. Here now really Shantideva talking about the reason, right? Why you need to have antidote, power of antidote. Power of antidote really means following their guidance. Just like when we have common elements, following the doctor's words. Following the doctor's words is the antidote, your antidote, right? Your antidote for your this common elements. Likewise, following the triple gems words is the power of antidote for one's own 100 faults. It becomes antidote for one's own 100 faults. 100 fault? How can we say 100 fault? We need to match this. Shantideva is very good in an example actually. He gave very nice example each time. He gave this very beautiful example and then he gave this meaning. Same like that. This is his very beautiful, this 2-line, stanza number 54, this 2-line is the example, right? And then rest of others until now is giving the meaning. And keep continuing, also he's not giving up. Along a small and ordinary clip, another example now, another reason giving why we need power of antidote. Along a small and ordinary clip, if I must pick my way with the special care, isn't it? We needed that. And then, if so, what need to speak of that long-lasting, what is that? Chasm, plunging to the depth of 1,000 leagues. 1,000 leagues. What does it mean?
Leagues is a form of measurement depth.
Depth. 1,000 leagues. Here.
So it's like, think of 1,000 feet, but a league is very long.
So question marks. He's here. He's putting question mark. So the first 2-line is the example. Second 2-line is the meaning. Now he's letting us decide. Now you decide. What we will gonna decide now? Along a small and ordinary clip, if I must pick my way with the special care, then what need to speak of that long-lasting chasm, plunging to the depths 1,000 leagues? Question mark. You answer yourself. Yes, you need to answer this. He's living with the question. You need to fill up that part. You need to fill that blank part. And today, at least, I should not die. And another reason, again. So rush to lull myself with the words like these. My dissolution and my hour of death will come to me. Of this, there is no doubt. There's no doubt. Do we have doubt on it? There's no doubt. Yes, there's no doubt. And therefore, who can give me the fearlessness? What assurance on the shore that I have escape is there from this? Question mark. He's letting us fill up this blank. It is certain that I am going to die. So how can I relax my mind at ease without confessing oneself negativity? He is not saying that after you confess, then you cannot ease. He's not saying that. But relaxing and easing before you confess, then a little bit is strange. This is what he means. After you confess, then yes, you have a right to ease. You have a right to relax. Now this is he's saying this before confessing one's own negativity. Now here he's giving all this reason why we need power of antidote, right? With the many different reason using example as an ailment, and reason using example as an ordinary clip, and then reason using a death. Continuing, of life experience, all seasons past, what is left to me? What now remain? And then if we didn't, this is how we should take it, this stanza. If we didn't confess, if we didn't, try to confess our negativity, okay? And then still kind of like how can I say now this? Let me put it in this. Shabbos. Yeah, so now this is what Shantideva is giving us, that first let me read this. Of life is experience, of life's experience, all seasons is past. What is left to me? What now remain? Which means actually that whatever we experience, the pleasant and pleasure and whatsoever, by utilizing all those five senses. So far, we had it, experience all those. Those experiences now past. Is there any left now, right now? He just wants us to look what now remain? Question mark. What do you have remain now, those experience? No. Those experience will not gonna remain now. You need it again and again if you want it. this will not going to remain. But by clinging to what now is here no more, my teacher precepts I have disobeyed. But so understanding that whatever we have experienced through utilizing those five senses, if we recall now, if we look now, and those all experience is already faded now. Those all experiences, we don't have anything right now. But on the other hand, what we have really remained within oneself now is what we did it for that. That is going to be remain with us, one thing. So therefore, now without understanding this, how to say, without understanding this essence-less, and without understanding that what we are done for achieve that pleasure and pleasant will gonna remain with me. Without understanding these 2 points, without, how to say, out of lacking understanding this, and then clinging to what now is here, I say, Dani tela mun shene, lami kadan kawarshes. By clinging to what now is here no more. What does it mean? This is I cannot little match here.
Isn't that clinging is like attachment?
Yeah, clinging is attachment, right?
By clinging to, by still being attached to what is no longer here.
What is the past?
Okay. By clinging to what now is here no more. And then my teacher's precepts I have disobeyed. Are you getting it? This is what it's saying.
So the teacher told us that we should detach and not continue to cling and hold on to things that are gone. But we didn't listen to our teachers.
Still clinging
So still
to that. It is like, okay, let me put you here. Lacking of understanding these 2 things. Okay? Lacking of understanding these 2 things, which are, one thing is the whatsoever we experience, it is really essence-less. And then whatever we done for it, it will gonna remain with me until it gives its ripen, its result. Lacking of this to understand, because of lacking this to understand, still I have this clinging towards to achieve these things again and again, which makes me disobey, disobey the teacher's advice, teacher's words. You understanding? This is actually Shantideva's, I think, talking about this impermanent, giving reason as an impermanent. Understand this impermanent of this temporary pleasure and pleasant. Understand it's natural, very impermanent, and rather than chasing after those, better to obey these words and detach it. This is another reason he is giving why we need power of antidote again. Why we need the words of those teachers. Power of antidote is, as I told you, the following those words. Just like a common elements, antidote is following doctor's word. Likewise, understanding natural this phenomena, it is very essenceless, and whatever you've done for it, it will gonna remain with you until it gives its result. Understand those, and then detach yourself from this and follow the words of those. Follow the words of doctor. Let me say that. Let me put here. Follow the words of doctor. That's another reason. And when this life is left behind, and with it all my kith and kin. What is kith?
Relatives.
Huh?
So who is?
Kith is relatives. Relatives. Oh, kith and kin. Kin is
Relatives. Yes.
okay. Yeah. I must set out on strange path all alone. Why make so much of all my friends and fears? Zadam means a kunchiro. Do you understanding what he is trying to say here? Huh? And okay, let me read again here. And when this life is left behind, and with it all my kith and kin, I must set out on strange paths all alone. Why make so much of all my friends and fears? Fears, foes. Okay, friends and foes.
Friends and enemies.
Friend and foes. It is just because before he said it, right? All the past experience will gonna fade. It will not gonna hear anymore. Understand that when I lived my life behind, then whatever I have, this all will gonna abandon me. So why you are making so hard work for your friend and foes? For the foes, what we make effort to get rid of them. That's our effort. To friends, what we make effort to be close and to how to say, to try to satisfy them. No, you cannot. You have to go with the fact. Going with the fact, if satisfied, good. If not, then no else, nothing else. You cannot pretend and make, you cannot, how to say, satisfy your friend by pretending and by making up. Try not to satisfy your friend by hypocrisy, by making up, by pretending. Be yourself, be natural. If they satisfy, they're satisfied. Once they satisfy, that satisfied remain very long. Yes. Through the pretend, hypocrisy, even though they satisfied, that satisfied will not gonna remain. 1 hour after finish, that change. Because that's not your natural. You cannot be that at all in front of that person. Sooner or later, your natural will gonna appear. You understand what I'm saying? Jennifer got lost.
No, I understand. I was drifting to a place where it's applicable in my life.
Okay, so here basically Shantideva was saying, spending your time and your energy for this purpose, like satisfying your friends and then get rid of those faults, spending all your time on it, it is wasting. Rather than following their words, you should follow the other words. Rather than following your friends' words, right? But however, this now really that Shantideva is trying to saying is this, that when you die and you have to go alone with what you did, they will not gonna share, they will not gonna take their part. So therefore, for them, making so hard, working so hard, it's a little bit not really useful for you. And rather than that, following their word, it's better to follow the Triple James word, the doctor's word. And then Shantideva keep continuing. Now I'm feeling tired by saying this again and again. Shantideva not finishing. Huh? How instead can I make sure to rid myself of evil, only cause of sorrow? This should be my own concern, my only thought, both night and day. But you don't need this after you confess. Okay? Before you confess, you may need this until you confess. Okay? Here, Shantideva saying all these things to provide us the reason why you need power of antidote. Once you have those power of antidote, then you don't need these things. You don't need to follow this stanza. Until you fulfill this third step, power of antidote, you may need this. You may need to reflect on this. Okay? How instead can I make sure to rid myself of evil, only cause of sorrow? This should be my own concern, my one concern, my only thought, both night and day. So with understanding all those reasons why you need power of antidote, then now it's time for you to utilize this power of antidote. Then here, the actual power of antidote. The actual power of antidote itself is not that difficult. It's easy. You really need, sometimes this is so easy. Therefore, if we don't explain the reason why you need this, and these people come, oh, is it? It can be confessed, my negative. It's easy, the thing that, right? Actually, one way it is easy. Yes, it is not difficult. It is not difficult. We just make ourselves difficult. As I told you earlier, that faith and devotion, confidence. I have full of control my mind. I can have faith and devotion to anybody who I like. There's no restriction. Even gun cannot restrict this, because my mind is invisible. I can say from my mouth, oh no, I don't have faith, but my mind, I can keep faith. That gun person cannot see that my mind, right? So just like that. And also, I'm telling you now here, some people saying, oh, I don't know how to have a faith. I don't know how to have a devotion. It is very silly. It is just like saying, I don't know how to move my hand up and down. Similar. Your faith has to come out of your mind. Your mind is just like your hand. It's full in your control. Okay, so after understanding all those reasons, now the actual power of antidote, how one can fulfill, how one can complete is, that's Shantideva 6, stanza number 63 and 64. The wrongs that I have done through my own ignorance and stupidity, all action evil by their nature, and transgression of the precepts, fearing all the pains to come, I join my palms and ceaselessly prostrate, and everything I will confess directly in the sight of my protectors. Finish with the prostration. Now you do, after you understand all those reasons, now actual power of antidote here, in accordance with this Sutrayana that Shantideva giving the prostration. You do prostration for your confess. Actually, prostration itself, in Tibetan, I don't know in English prostration what does really give you understand. In Tibetan, chak, cha, chak. Chak means actually clean. We say chama chak, broom, right? Can't say wave the floor, sweep the floor by broom, right? Broom in a Tibetan name, chakma, chakchal, chakma, same. Broom is chakma, which can sweep the all dust. Likewise, chakchal, which can sweep all your dust of this mind, verbal, and physical. That's chak, actually meaning chak. Chal is do, right? Chak chal. Clean, which means actually directly means clean. Clean your physical, verbal, and mental. So here, power of antidote is, that's it. It's finished. It's easy. And then now, this last stanza of this second chapter, power of, what do you call it? Commitment.
Resolve.
Power of resolve. Power of resolve. Power of commitment, resolve, whatsoever. That's how, okay, with that, now we've fulfilled the 3 steps, right? And then now, power of resolve or power of commitment is also very easy. Here, how Shantideva guiding in this Bodhicharyavatara, in this second chapter, 65 stanza. I pray you, guides and guidance of the world, to take me as I am a sinful man, and all these actions, evil as they are, I promise I will never do again. That's it. And filled with 40 steps. You do it again and you confess again. Yes, that's really. You do again, you confess again. Once you know all those, the way to confess, you can do anytime, anywhere. Not necessarily only in a temple. Not necessarily only in a front of monk. You can do this everywhere, anytime. In the aeroplane traveling, in a bus traveling, in a car driving, in a restaurant eating, in a park enjoying, in a toilet pooing. Yes, I'm serious. In one hand it's joke, on the other hand, I already said it. Anytime, anywhere, right? Anytime, anywhere. What does it mean, anytime, anywhere? And those all are anytime, anywhere, right? We no need to think, oh, if I practice in toilet, it is not proper. No need to that. No need to worry about that. Some people do worry that things. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so we stop here. And then, yeah, we can discuss. Malik, you forgot your question?
Well, maybe I'll try. It's about the confession
Uh-huh.
we're talking about.
Mhm.
And, the Buddhas, with all their passion, are able, maybe I didn't understand, are able to cleanse our obscurations, to clean our obscurations.
Scatters all fears. That's what you were talking about, right? Ashantideva said that who go just with this.
The mighty ones who scatter every fear.
Scatters every fear. Right? Mm-hmm. So
maybe this is not but if the Buddhas were full of compassion could do that.
no, full of compassion, not necessarily do that. Full of compassion with the wisdom, then you can do that. Some people full of compassion, then they just cry themselves. They do nothing. They do nothing.
Yeah, okay. But that was why don't they do it for all of us now? Why not?
Yeah. Why they are not doing right now for all of us? Yeah, they are doing it. They are doing it. But we are not receiving it. So therefore, Shantideva was letting us understand that they are doing it. Now you understand and you hook that your faith on them, then they will pull you out. This is exactly Shantideva was giving it. They are looking at you. Now you need to what's it?
Latch on.
You need to latch on. The latching on them is through faith, is through devotion, is through full of confidence. This is common, even we use the common kind of like examples also like that. Just like within our family also, within one family we can see that. Parents are always there for children, their son and daughter. But sometimes their own son and daughters doesn't have confidence on them. And then the son or daughter not getting it exactly what their parent can give them. But parent, more or less, they lost their control. They give. That's really a little bit natural being parent, right? Whatever they ask, even they don't have confidence on you, you will give. Yeah.
My question, Tuku, is on the we were just talking about the power of resolve and commitment. You had mentioned that next time you do it, you'll just confess again. But so we're trying to commit, but we know we're going to do it again.
No. We don't know. We don't know. You know you are going to do it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm not saying you want to not do it again, but chances are you'll say a harsh word.
Yes.
Or you'll do that again. So are we really committing when we know at some point
Yes.
we're going to do it again?
Right now, yes, I'm really committing right now when I confess. It does not mean that you will not going to make mistake again. A mistake again is something acceptable. Therefore, confess again. Yeah. That's okay. Unless you do it that with that intention, or do it with that. Or yes, also I forgot to tell this commitment actually, I really, myself, actually, it is not something that I, how can I say now, this is very strange. I have this, my own experience, this commitment. Commitment really does get rid of your guilty feeling. Really. Commitment is the only one source that can get rid of your guilty by your mistake. When we done mistake, and when you commit yourself, after understanding that I done mistake, and committing yourself, okay, with cautiously, with aware, we're not gonna make this mistake again. Committing. That really pulls out your guilty. That's really free you from your guilty. Removing guilty is the commitment. That's really Buddha's and all those saying, but based on their advice, history, I'm saying that I have my own experience too. It does that job. It does that job. It does that job. Funny. Then, question? Yeah?
My question's about karma.
Mm-hmm.
You said there were two ways to
Get rid of.
To get rid of karma, either writings or
Confess.
you confess. I thought the practices changed your karma as well, like purification practices, the practices we do.
Confess is the one who can really get rid of from its root.
So we don't have to practice, we just have to confess.
Plus, you need marriage, right? You are not just, how to say, just freeing from unfortune is not enough. I need fortune. I don't need unfortune, plus I need fortune.
So confession purifies your karma,
Mhm.
and practice also purifies your karma.
Yes.
It
And-
gives you merit.
Yeah. Another than I would say, the practice within practice, every practice we can combine this fashion. But let's say if you didn't combine these 4 steps with your practice, and this your practice is you just accumulate merit, okay?
Oh, okay.
And then that not really get redeem of your karma actually. It is just postponing your karma a little bit for so they can fit in. And when you accumulate another merit, again they will push him a little bit out. I need space here. Push him a little bit away. That way it's push away, push away, push away, postpone, 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 postpone. But until you confess, it is there. It is just postponed. Yes, we can postpone by our merit. Yes, because the giving the result of consequences is whichever is strong, it will give us. So if your merit is stronger than your negative karma, then your merit result will gonna give us, which means he is taking the space, front space he is taking, and he is pushing this negative back. Right? Like that. You're adding every day, when you do every day merit, accumulate merit, you're adding, and you keep pushing this back. And then between that, and you will know how to confess. And then you will yes, actually. Yes.
So, if I may, so confession is naturally part of the Vajrasattva practice.
No. Here, Shantideva doesn't mention any Vajrasattva. No Vajrasattva, then it's Vajrayana path.
Okay.
Here, Shantideva doesn't say even name of Vajrasattva, right? No, he only said those Buddha Dharma Sangha. And this is accordance with the Sutrayana way.
So when you do 7-point practice.
And then here, power of antidote. He is not mentioning those nectar flows down, nothing. He just say prostate.
Yeah.
Prostate, that's it. Right? Power of antidote. How he is instructing power of antidote. Understand all those, and then you make prostration to confess. So that's it. That's power of antidote.
You've got the same results?
Yes. That same result now it's depend on a power, right? Depend on a good has a within a good there are levels, right?
So even in the 7-branch prayer, we've completed it.
Mm-hmm.
Confession.
Compassion is one of the 7.
Yes.
We're doing it. Therefore, here, the way we taking every Sunday Bodhisattva vow, according with this Shantideva instruction, we're doing these 7 branches. First, make sure accumulate merit and confess before we take Bodhicitta. Wow. Exactly following his footpath. And this his footpath is also Nagarjuna's footpath. He is following the Nagarjuna's footpath. Within a Mahayana, receiving Bodhicitta vow has a 2 different way. Asanga's way and Nagarjuna's way.
Serious on its own.
So With Tibetan mosques that follow the Nagarjuna way, Tibetan Mahayana Buddhism is more or less the Nagarjunas. But still, yeah, we study Asanga way too. But normally when we practice more in the Nagarjuna's way. We dedicate now. Shanam de Amje Zibani, Pumne Danam Amjin, Shegana Ji, Walla Tubai, Sibian Zolan, Rowan Rowan Shu, Jambal Bali, Jidarakin, Kundu Zambo, Dean Dejinde, the Dakunji, Jesu Daloji, Gewan de Da Amje, Radu Mo, Gewan de Sheo, Sanam Yeshi, Sanam Yeshe, Lechonwe, Tamba Kuni, Kobarashu, Sanji, Kusumi, Chinlanda, Chuni, Mindur, Dembe, China, Yenden Meche, Dembe, Chinlamji, Jadaramwa, Malam, Kobarashu. By this beneficial activity, may I obtain omniscience, and having vanquished the harmful enemies, greed, anger, delusion, may I liberate all being tossed about helplessly by the waves of birth, aging, illness, and death in the ocean of becoming. By conforming to the knowledge of courageous Manjushri, Jangoyan, and in the same way as Samantapatra, Kundusambo, and following their example, I dedicate perfectly all this virtue. By this virtue, may all beings perfectly achieve the accumulation of merit, sunam, and wisdom, patience, and may they thereafter obtain the two holy bodies which result from these two accumulations. By the blessing of the Buddha Sangye, who obtained the three bodies, by the blessing of the immutable truth of Dharmata, Chuni, by the blessing of the infallible aspirations of the Sangha, Gendan, may this prayer of dedications be accomplished just as it is. Thank you.
No.